car market is crashing harder than anyone could have predicted, and it's happening right now. Are you ready for the fallout? For years, trading in your car seemed like a smart move. Simple, quick, and even profitable at times. But today, the tides have turned. With new car lots overflowing and used car values plummeting, dealers are desperate and buyers are more cautious than ever. What caused this unprecedented shakeup, and why is it hitting so hard in 2025? Why are trade-in values dropping faster than ever? What hidden traps should you watch out for when selling your car? And is it better to wait or act now? Stick around, because these answers could save you thousands and completely change how you think about your next car deal. What's happening? 3 million unsold new vehicles. What is going on? The car market has always been a dance of supply and demand, but in 2025, the music has come to a screeching halt. Dealerships across the United States are grappling with an unprecedented problem: an overwhelming surplus of new vehicles sitting idle on their lots. According to the latest industry reports, there are now more than 3 million brand new vehicles available nationwide. For perspective, that is an increase of over 400,000 units compared to the same time last year, and a staggering 1,400,000 more than just 2 years ago. What caused this surge in inventory? The answer lies in overproduction during the pandemic recovery period. Automakers ramped up production in anticipation of a market boom, only to be met with waning consumer demand. The result? Dealerships overflowing with vehicles they cannot sell. The challenge is not just about moving inventory, it is about the financial strain it places on manufacturers, dealers, and the broader market. But the issue does not stop with new cars. The oversaturated new car market has created a ripple effect that is devastating the used car market too. So what does all this oversupply mean for used car values? Plummeting used car values. Your used car might be worth far less than you think. The used car market has taken a nosedive, and for anyone considering trading in their vehicle, the timing could not be worse. Over the past 2 years, the value of used cars has plummeted by 25 to 30%. That means a car that was worth $20,000 in 2023 might now fetch just $14,000 or even less on trade-in. This sharp decline can be traced directly to the oversupply of new vehicles. With so many discounted new cars flooding the market, used vehicles are no longer the go-to choice for budget-conscious buyers. Why settle for a used car when you can get a brand new model with 0% financing and massive dealer incentives? For dealerships, this creates a vicious cycle. They cannot offer high trade-in values because they know the resale potential of those used vehicles is shrinking. For consumers, it is a lose-lose situation. Trading in a vehicle now means accepting far less than it is worth, while holding onto it risks further depreciation. But for many Americans, the bigger problem is not depreciation, it is debt. The negative equity epidemic. $7,200 in debt before you even start shopping. Negative equity has become a harsh reality for millions of car owners. On average, Americans owe $7,200 more on their car loans than their vehicles are currently worth. This means that even before they step foot in a dealership, buyers are underwater, carrying the weight of old loans into new purchases. How did we get here? The pandemic-era car market was fueled by sky-high prices, inflated loans, and dealer markups that pushed buyers to the brink. Add rising interest rates into the mix, and it is no wonder so many Americans are struggling to stay afloat. The average interest rate on a new car loan is now over 7%, while used car loans average an eye-watering 11%. These high rates make it nearly impossible for buyers to pay down their principal, trapping them in a cycle of negative equity. For those considering a trade-in, the math becomes even more daunting. Imagine trading in a car worth $15,000 but still owing $22,000 on the loan. That $7,000 gap does not just disappear, it gets rolled into the next loan, creating a financial snowball that keeps growing. With negative equity on the rise, many Americans are rethinking how long they should keep their cars. Holding onto your car, a new norm. Why are Americans keeping their cars longer than ever before? In 2025, the average American is holding onto their vehicle for 5 to 7 years, a significant increase from the traditional 3 to 5 years. Some are even stretching that timeline to 10 years or more, performing regular maintenance to keep their cars running smoothly. This shift is not just a response to financial pressures, it is a smart strategy in today's volatile market. Modern vehicles are built to last longer than ever before, with many models capable of exceeding 200,000 miles with proper care. For consumers, the cost of routine maintenance is far more manageable than the expense of a new car purchase or the financial hit of trading in a depreciated vehicle. Another driving factor is the declining trust in the car market. With prices for new cars at record highs and trade-in values at record lows, many Americans feel that the system is stacked against them. Instead of playing the game, they are choosing to opt out, focusing on maximizing the value of their current vehicles. The trend toward extended ownership is reshaping the automotive industry in ways we are only beginning to understand. As consumers hold onto their cars longer, dealerships are struggling to maintain their supply of trade-ins, further exacerbating the issues in the used car market. As car ownership trends evolve, let us take a closer look at how dealerships are coping and why their strategies may not be working. The trade-in trap. Thinking of trading in your car? Think again, because dealerships are not playing fair. Trade-ins have always been a cornerstone of the car buying process, offering convenience and a little financial relief. But in today's market, trade-ins have become a liability rather than an asset. With the value of used cars plummeting and dealerships facing an oversupply of new inventory, they are offering trade-in values that can only be described as insulting. Consider this: 2 years ago, trading in a 3-year-old car could net you a value close to what you originally paid. The pandemic created a seller's market where used cars were in such high demand that their prices skyrocketed. But now, with dealerships slashing prices on new cars to clear out excess inventory, used vehicles are no longer the hot commodity they once were. A car that might have fetched $25,000 in trade-in value just a couple of years ago might now only bring in $17,000, a massive hit to the seller. The trade-in trap becomes even more evident when you factor in negative equity. If you still owe $25,000 on a car that is now only worth $17,000, the $8,000 difference does not disappear. Instead, it gets rolled into your new loan, inflating your monthly payments and locking you into an even more precarious financial situation. Dealerships are well aware of these dynamics, and many are using them to their advantage. By offering low trade-in values and steering buyers toward new inventory with flashy discounts, they make it seem like you are getting a deal, when in reality, you are just digging a deeper financial hole. But trade-in values are only part of the equation. What about the financing options dealerships are dangling in front of buyers? The financing illusion. 0% financing might sound like a dream, but is it masking a financial nightmare? In a desperate bid to move their overwhelming inventory, dealerships are rolling out aggressive financing incentives. 0% interest rates, extended loan terms, and cashback offers are plastered across advertisements, luring buyers with promises of affordability. But as enticing as these deals may seem, they often come with strings attached. For one, these incentives are typically reserved for buyers with excellent credit scores, usually in the 700s or higher. For the average American whose credit score sits closer to the 600s, qualifying for these deals can be a pipe dream. Even for those who do qualify, the benefits are not always as substantial as they appear. 0% financing might save you on interest, but it often comes at the expense of other discounts or rebates that could have reduced the overall cost of the vehicle. Another common tactic is the use of extended loan terms, which can stretch as long as 72 or even 84 months. While these longer terms may lower your monthly payments, they also mean you will be paying off your car for 6 to 7 years. During that time, the vehicle's value will depreciate significantly, leaving you with little to show for your investment when the loan is finally paid off. These financing options are particularly problematic for those already dealing with negative equity. Rolling over debt from a previous loan into a new one only exacerbates the issue, creating a cycle of financial instability that can be nearly impossible to escape. While dealerships are using financing tricks to entice buyers, the broader economic picture paints an even bleaker scenario. The economic squeeze, skyrocketing debt, rising costs, and stagnant wages. How did we get here? The current state of the car market cannot be understood without looking at the larger economic forces at play. For years, the cost of living has been steadily rising, outpacing wage growth and leaving many Americans financially stretched. Add to this the burden of record-high credit card debt, averaging $7,200 per household, and it is clear why so many people are hesitant to make big purchases like a new car. Rising insurance premiums have added fuel to the fire, with the average annual premium for full coverage now exceeding $2,700, a cost that has more than doubled in just 2.5 years. The automotive industry has not been immune to these pressures. Since 2019, the average price of a new vehicle has increased by 42%. Trucks and SUVs, which dominate the market, often come with price tags exceeding $70,000 or $80,000. Meanwhile, the average monthly car payment for a new vehicle has climbed to $760, while used car payments hover around $525. Even interest rates have skyrocketed, with used vehicle loans now averaging 11%, making the cost of financing almost as daunting as the sticker price. For many families, these costs are simply unsustainable. Studies show that 1 in 7 households cannot afford 2 car payments exceeding $500 each. This financial strain has forced consumers to reconsider their buying habits, with more people opting to hold onto their current vehicles rather than take on new debt. Maintenance and repairs are becoming the preferred option, even if it means holding on to aging vehicles for 7 to 10 years or more. The result is a perfect storm for the car market. Manufacturers are producing more vehicles than they can sell, while consumers are tightening their budgets and delaying purchases. This imbalance has created a market where supply far exceeds demand, driving down prices and making trade-ins an even worse deal. So if trading in and buying new are off the table, what options do car owners have? The answer lies in smarter financial strategies and understanding when to act in this unpredictable market. The case for keeping your old car might be worth more than you think if you know how to take care of it. In today's challenging market, the smartest financial move for many car owners is to keep their current vehicle for as long as possible. Modern cars are built to last, with many capable of running for 200,000 miles or more with proper maintenance. By investing in routine care, owners can extend the life of their vehicles and avoid the financial pitfalls of trading in or buying new. The benefits of keeping your car go beyond just avoiding a bad trade-in deal. Maintaining an older vehicle is often far more cost-effective than taking on a new loan, especially when you consider the high interest rates and inflated prices of new cars. Regular oil changes, tire rotations, and brake inspections can keep your car running smoothly for years to come, often at a fraction of the cost of monthly car payments. Another advantage is avoiding the rapid depreciation that comes with new vehicles. The moment you drive a new car off the lot, its value drops significantly. By sticking with your current car, you can sidestep this loss and make the most of your existing investment. Of course, keeping an older vehicle does come with its challenges. As cars age, they may require more frequent repairs, and finding replacement parts for older models can sometimes be a hassle. However, these costs are generally still lower than the expense of buying new, especially if you work with a trusted mechanic who can help you prioritize necessary repairs. For those who are concerned about reliability, extended warranties or service plans can provide peace of mind. These options can cover major repairs and protect you from unexpected expenses, allowing you to enjoy the benefits of keeping your car without the stress of potential breakdowns. With so many reasons to hold on to your car, what does this mean for the future of the car market? The new versus used dilemma. Is the traditional divide between new and used vehicles fading away? The lines are blurring and the consequences are monumental. The car market has always been segmented into 2 distinct categories, new and used. New cars symbolize the latest technology, higher price tags, and pristine warranties. Used cars, on the other hand, offered affordability and value, but often carried the stigma of uncertainty regarding their history and longevity. Today, that divide is being obliterated, creating confusion and challenges for consumers, dealerships, and automakers alike. The issue stems largely from the oversaturation of new vehicle inventory. With automakers ramping up production during the economic rebound from the pandemic, they underestimated the shift in consumer behavior. People grappling with rising living costs began to prioritize essentials over luxury purchases like new vehicles. As a result, dealerships are drowning in unsold inventory, with new cars sitting on lots for months, sometimes even years. This glut of new vehicles has caused a ripple effect in the used car market. Traditionally, used cars were priced to offer significant savings compared to their newer counterparts. However, with dealerships slashing prices on new vehicles to move inventory, the cost gap between new and used has narrowed significantly. For example, a lightly used 2022 model might only be a few $1,000s cheaper than its brand new 2024 equivalent. For many buyers, the small savings are not worth giving up the benefits of a new car, such as full warranties and the latest features. This pricing compression has left used car sellers, both individuals and dealerships, in a bind. Private sellers struggle to find buyers willing to pay their asking prices, while dealerships are forced to offer rock-bottom trade-in values just to stay competitive. Meanwhile, automakers are caught in a vicious cycle, as the diminished appeal of used cars makes it even harder for them to offload their new inventory. But the challenges facing the car market do not stop at pricing. They are reshaping how consumers interact with dealerships and financing institutions. The financing crunch. The dream of owning a car is slipping away for many thanks to skyrocketing loan rejections and tighter lending criteria. The financing landscape has undergone a dramatic transformation over the past few years, and not for the better. In the wake of economic uncertainty and rising interest rates, banks and credit unions have tightened their lending criteria, making it harder than ever for consumers to secure auto loans. The result is a growing population of would-be buyers who are being shut out of the market entirely. Recent data reveals that 1 in 5 auto loan applications was denied in the last quarter of 2024, a figure that has only increased as we move into 2025. Even those who are approved for financing often face interest rates that make monthly payments unaffordable. The average interest rate for new vehicle loans now hovers around 7%, while rates for used cars exceed 11%. For buyers with less than perfect credit, these rates can climb even higher, pushing car ownership out of reach for many. The financing crunch is particularly problematic for those dealing with negative equity. As trade-in values plummet, many buyers find themselves owing more on their current loans than their vehicles are worth. Rolling this debt into a new loan only compounds the problem, leading to inflated monthly payments and longer loan terms that can stretch up to 84 months. For these buyers, the financial strain of car ownership becomes an unsustainable burden. This shift has also led to an increase in repossessions. Unable to keep up with their payments, more and more consumers are defaulting on their loans. Repossessions rose by 23% in 2024, and experts predict this trend will continue throughout 2025. For dealerships and automakers, this creates an additional layer of complexity as repossessed vehicles flood the used car market, further driving down prices and complicating inventory management. As financing becomes a roadblock for many, what does this mean for dealerships and their ability to survive in an increasingly competitive market? The dealership dilemma. The golden age of car dealerships may be over, and the survivors will need to adapt or risk becoming obsolete. Dealerships have long been the backbone of the automotive industry, serving as the primary point of contact between automakers and consumers. But the challenges facing the car market have put unprecedented pressure on dealerships, forcing many to reevaluate their business models. One of the biggest challenges is the oversupply of inventory. With lots overflowing with unsold vehicles, dealerships are finding it harder than ever to turn a profit. Incentives like 0% financing and steep discounts help move some inventory, but they also eat into profit margins, leaving little room for error. For smaller dealerships, this financial strain can be a death knell, leading to closures and consolidations. Another issue is the changing expectations of consumers. The rise of online shopping has transformed the way people buy cars, with many now opting to complete the entire process, from research to purchase, without ever setting foot in a dealership. This shift has forced dealerships to invest heavily in digital platforms and online sales tools, further straining their resources. Even the traditional revenue streams of dealerships are under threat. Service departments, which have historically been a major source of profit, are seeing reduced traffic as more consumers opt to keep their vehicles for longer. While this trend increases demand for maintenance and repairs, it also means fewer opportunities for dealerships to sell new cars or trade-ins. In response to these challenges, some dealerships are experimenting with new approaches, such as subscription-based car ownership and expanded service offerings. Others are doubling down on used cars, hoping to carve out a niche in a market that remains unpredictable. But for many, the road ahead is uncertain, and survival will depend on their ability to adapt to an industry in flux. With dealerships struggling to stay afloat, what does this mean for the automakers who rely on them to sell their vehicles? The automaker's predicament. When automakers miscalculate demand, the consequences ripple across the entire industry and beyond. For automakers, the challenges of 2025 represent a perfect storm of misaligned priorities and unforeseen economic forces. The oversaturation of new vehicles, combined with shifting consumer behavior and rising production costs, has created a landscape fraught with difficulty. One of the biggest issues is the miscalculation of demand. During the pandemic, automakers ramped up production to meet the surge in demand for cars, fueled by low interest rates and government stimulus. But as economic conditions shifted, demand dried up, leaving manufacturers with an oversupply of vehicles. This misstep has not only hurt automakers financially, but also damaged their relationships with dealerships, who are now stuck with excess inventory. Compounding this issue is the rising cost of manufacturing. The push for electric vehicles and advanced safety features has driven up production costs, making it harder for automakers to offer competitive prices. At the same time, government regulations and environmental standards have forced companies to invest heavily in new technologies, further straining their budgets. These challenges have also led to a shift in focus for many automakers. Instead of prioritizing volume sales, some are turning their attention to profitability, focusing on higher margin vehicles like luxury cars and trucks. While this strategy may help stabilize their finances in the short term, it risks alienating the middle-class consumers who have traditionally been their core customer base. The automaker's predicament is not just an internal issue, it has far-reaching implications for the economy as a whole. The automotive industry is a major driver of economic activity, supporting millions of jobs in manufacturing, sales, and service. If automakers cannot find a way to adapt to the new market realities, the ripple effects could be felt far beyond their own bottom lines. With the automotive industry at a crossroads, what does the future hold for consumers and the market as a whole? How consumers can adapt. When the car market shifts beneath your feet, how do you stay ahead? It all starts with understanding the game. For car buyers and owners alike, the current state of the automotive industry is both confusing and challenging. The oversaturated market, inflated prices, and financing hurdles mean that old strategies for buying, selling, or trading in vehicles may no longer apply. Adapting to these changes requires a mix of patience, research, and flexibility. One of the most important steps consumers can take is to delay major vehicle purchases if possible. With new car inventory at record highs, manufacturers and dealerships will likely increase incentives over time to clear unsold stock. This means that the deals available now could improve in the coming months. For those who can afford to wait, patience could lead to significant savings. For consumers who cannot delay a purchase, preparation is key. Start by researching market trends and dealership practices in your area. Websites that track pricing data, inventory levels, and historical trends can provide valuable insights into where the best deals might be found. For example, understanding which models are overstocked can help you negotiate better discounts or find dealerships desperate to move specific inventory. Trade-ins require a special strategy in this market. With trade-in values plummeting, consider holding on to your current vehicle for a little longer if possible. If you must trade it in, shop around to multiple dealerships to compare offers. Some may be more willing to provide a higher value if they are trying to win your business. Alternatively, selling your car privately may yield a better return, though it requires more effort and time. Finally, consumers must rethink how they finance their purchases. With interest rates for auto loans at their highest levels in years, securing pre-approval from a bank or credit union before visiting a dealership is essential. Doing so allows you to compare financing offers and potentially save thousands over the life of the loan. Additionally, buyers should be wary of extended loan terms, as these often lead to higher total interest payments and can trap you in a cycle of negative equity. While consumers navigate this turbulent market, dealerships are also facing mounting pressure to adapt and innovate. What dealerships must do to survive. The days of easy sales and high profits are over. Dealerships now face a fight for survival. For dealerships, the current automotive landscape is one of the most challenging in decades. Gone are the days when cars practically sold themselves and dealerships could name their price. Today, survival depends on innovation, adaptability, and a deep understanding of the evolving market. One of the first steps dealerships must take is to embrace transparency. Buyers are more informed than ever, thanks to the wealth of information available online. Hidden fees, inflated markups, and high-pressure sales tactics will no longer fly in a market where consumers can easily walk away and find better deals elsewhere. By being upfront about pricing and offering clear, competitive deals, dealerships can build trust and foster long-term customer loyalty. Digital transformation is another critical area. With more buyers preferring to complete their transactions online, dealerships must invest in user-friendly websites, virtual showrooms, and streamlined e-commerce platforms. Offering options like home delivery, at-home test drives, and online financing applications can make the buying process more convenient and appealing, especially for younger tech-savvy consumers. Inventory management is also a pressing concern. With lots overflowing with unsold vehicles, dealerships need to get creative. This might involve offering bundled deals, such as including free maintenance packages or extended warranties with purchases. Another approach is to focus on pre-owned certified vehicles, which often have higher profit margins and appeal to budget-conscious buyers. Finally, dealerships must improve their customer service. Building lasting relationships with customers can turn one-time buyers into repeat clients who trust the dealership for maintenance, trade-ins, and future purchases. By providing exceptional service and going the extra mile, dealerships can differentiate themselves in an increasingly competitive market. While dealerships scramble to adapt, automakers themselves are grappling with even larger questions about their role in the future of mobility. The automakers' blueprint for the future. As the industry evolves, automakers are being forced to rethink their strategies or risk being left behind. The challenges facing automakers today go far beyond inventory issues or fluctuating demand. The industry is undergoing a seismic shift driven by changes in consumer behavior, environmental regulations, and technological advancements. To thrive in this new era, automakers must embrace bold strategies that address both immediate concerns and long-term trends. One area ripe for innovation is vehicle design. Consumers are increasingly demanding vehicles that offer better fuel efficiency, lower emissions, and advanced safety features. Automakers that invest in developing hybrid and electric vehicles with cutting-edge technology will be better positioned to meet these demands. However, they must also ensure that these vehicles are reliable and affordable, as high maintenance costs and sticker prices have deterred many potential buyers. Pricing strategies are another crucial focus. With affordability being a top concern for many buyers, automakers need to strike a balance between profitability and accessibility. Offering a wider range of models at different price points can help capture a broader audience. Additionally, automakers might consider introducing subscription services or flexible ownership plans to appeal to younger consumers who prioritize convenience over traditional car ownership. Supply chain management is yet another critical challenge. The pandemic exposed vulnerabilities in global supply chains, leading to delays and shortages that continue to impact the industry. Automakers must invest in building more resilient supply chains, whether through regional manufacturing hubs, partnerships with local suppliers, or advancements in production technology like 3D printing. Lastly, automakers must confront the reality of overproduction. Instead of flooding the market with vehicles, manufacturers should focus on aligning production levels with actual demand. This might involve adopting lean manufacturing practices or implementing just-in-time production methods to reduce waste and improve efficiency. As automakers lay the groundwork for the future, the broader implications of these changes are reshaping the entire transportation landscape. The broader implications for society. The transformation of the car market isn't just about vehicles, it's about how we live, work, and move. The shifts occurring in the automotive industry have far-reaching consequences that extend beyond dealerships and automakers. They touch every aspect of society, from urban planning to environmental policy to economic stability. One of the most immediate impacts is on the job market. The automotive industry is a major employer, supporting millions of jobs in manufacturing, sales, and maintenance. As dealerships close, assembly lines slow, and automation replaces manual labor, many workers are finding themselves displaced. Governments and corporations will need to invest in retraining programs and workforce development initiatives to help these individuals transition to new roles. Urban planning is another area that stands to be transformed. As more consumers shift towards electric and autonomous vehicles, cities will need to rethink their infrastructure. This includes building more charging stations, redesigning roads to accommodate self-driving cars, and creating policies that encourage the use of sustainable transportation options. The environmental implications of these changes are also significant. The push towards electric vehicles is a critical step in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, but it also raises questions about the sustainability of battery production and disposal. Policymakers and industry leaders will need to collaborate on solutions that minimize the environmental impact of this transition. Finally, the transformation of the car market has implications for social equity. Access to affordable, reliable transportation is a cornerstone of economic mobility, allowing people to access jobs, education, and healthcare. As car prices rise and financing becomes more difficult to obtain, policymakers must consider how to ensure that transportation remains accessible to all, particularly in underserved communities. The automotive industry is at a crossroads, and the choices we make today will shape the future of transportation for generations to come. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. What do you think about the current state of the car market? Have you experienced any surprises when trading in or buying a vehicle recently? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories, insights, and opinions. And if you found this video helpful or eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates that keep you ahead of the curve. See you in the next one.